السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم ذلك أزكى لهم إن الله خبير بما يصنعون. صدق الله العظيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل حول من الأهوال مقتحم. يا رب بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم. All praises unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created us from a few drops. And after creating us from these few drops, He fashioned us into these perfect forms that He blessed with eyesight, through which we can see, and through ears with which we can hear, and tongues with which we can speak, and hands with which we can act, and feet with which we can walk. When a person, he contemplates on the in'am, on the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has showered upon him, he recognizes the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the amount that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has benefited him. And the unfortunate reality of our circumstance and our situation is that until a blessing is not removed from us, we do not realize its importance. When that blessing is removed, then we realize, and then we wish we could have that thing back. Bihamdihi ta'ala, many of us, we all sat here, we have sihat with us, we have health with us, we are able to sit in the masjid. This in itself is such a great blessing. Ask that individual who is not able to come. You are able to see, हम देख सकते हैं, ये भी कितनी बड़ी नेमत है. The person who does not have eyesight, जो नहीं देख सकता है, उसको पूछो, what would you give in order for your eyesight to be returned? And he will tell you कि जितना भी माल है, सिर्फ एक आँख की रोशनी के लिए, just for one eye I would give everything I have. The person who cannot hear, what he would give in order to have his hearing back. So the reality is that we do not appreciate the ni'mah, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has bestowed upon us. And when they are taken away, then we realize their importance. But by then it is too late. But rather, not only this, instead, what we do is we use those very blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, wo ni'mati, which Allah has given us. हम उसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं गुनाह के लिए. We use those very blessings in order to commit gunaah, in order to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we never contemplate कि मैं ये चीज़ गुनाह में इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूँ और करीब है कि खुदा मुझसे ये छीन ले. That I am using this very ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to commit sin. Should I not fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will snatch this blessing away from me? And the specific discussion I wish to have today, it is the cause of many evils within our society. They say it is a cornerstone bad habit. यानी कुछ आदतें ऐसी होती है कि अगर उस बुरी आदत हमने नहीं छोड़ी तो उससे ज़्यादा गुनाह होते हैं. Then many other sins will result as a consequence of this. And what is this? It is the safeguarding of the eyesight. Because the safeguarding, निगाह की हिफाजत से, it is like a fortress. is like a defense. When a person safeguards his eyesight, he is saved from so many other types of evil, so many other types of sin. And many of the societal ills, हमारी जमात में, हमारे लोगों में जितनी भी बुराई है, so many evils which are prevalent in our community and society is as a result of this guna, because of this one sin. That we do not think, हम ये सोच नहीं है जब हम चलते हैं किसी बुरी चीज़ पर निगाह पड़ती है कि मैं ये चीज़ को देख रहा हूँ और अल्लाह मेरी निगाह को न छीन ले. That I am looking at this thing which is haram, and as a consequence of which Allah could take this eyesight away from me. This is because we do not value our eyesight. हम उसकी कीमत नहीं जानते. If we want to understand the value of an eye, let me mention to you one narration. It has been mentioned कि एक शख्स ऐसा था जो दिन रात वो इबादत करता था. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ने उसके लिए, in order to make it easy for him, he created a tree ताकि उसके फल से वो खाए. और उसके करीब एक नहर, मीठा पानी वाला नहर, a sweet spring was made to flow close to him so he could drink the water. और दिन रात, day and night, he would worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. यहाँ तक कि 500 साल गुजर गए इसी हालत में. वो फल खाता, पानी पीता, इबादत करता रहा. That's all he would do. For 500 years he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After 500 years, it's mentioned in regards to this person, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call him और उसको कहेगा that you are worthy of Jannat. Your ibadat is such that you should go into Jannat. लेकिन जन्नत का दाखला आप इबादत के साथ चाहते हो या मेरी रहमत के साथ? Do you wish to enter into Jannah, into paradise, through your worship, or do you wish to enter into paradise through my mercy? So वो बंदा सोचेगा, he'll begin to think, and he'll think, मैंने कितनी कोशिशें की. How much did I strive and struggle in order to do this worship? That for 500 years I spent worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, Ya Allah, let me enter Jannah through my worship. So that at that time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will teach this servant. He will place all of his 500 years of worship into one scale. 500 साल की इबादत एक पल्ला में और सिर्फ एक आँख, one eye in the other, and the eye will become heavy. And he will say to his servant, my servant, this is just one ni'mah of mine. This is just one of my mercies. What about the other eye? What about your other senses? What about all of your creation? What about the tree I created for your food? What about the river I produced in order so you could drink? And he will say to him, O my servant, when I created you, मैंने जब तुझको पैदा किया, then did I look at your worship? At that time, did I look at your ibadat, or did I create you through my mercy? So that servant will say, Ya Allah, you created me through your mercy. All of this is your mercy. Ya Allah, not through my worship, Ya Allah, only through your mercy. Only through your mercy. And this one eye, it has far greater significance than 500 years of worship. And that very eye we use in order to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should contemplate on this. The Sufiya Karam, they say if a person wishes to tread on the path of tasawwuf, on the path of suluk, he should just remember this. Man arafa nafsah faqad arafa rabbah. And some have said if a person just looks at the mercy and the rahmah and the blessings that Allah has bestowed upon him, this is sufficient for him to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for him to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for him to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But how unfortunate is it for us that we have no contemplation of this. We have no consideration for these ideas. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala time and time again reminds us in the Quran the importance of safeguarding our eyesight. That these in'am, these blessings which He has given us, on the day of judgment, it will be these very blessings which will speak out against us. Right? That these very blessings, on the day of judgment, they will give shahada, they will give witness against us. Right? For example, is mentioned in Surah Yasin, verse number 65. That on the day of judgment, what will happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will clamp the tongue. He will close the tongue. And the hands and the feet, they will begin to speak. In Surah Al-Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the eye itself will give witness. Aankh khud gawahi de. That with me he looked at this and he looked at this. And this is a very vile situation we are in. We treat this very lightly. But this is the cause of so much fitna in our society. There's a concept in fiqh which is called Saddu Zara'i, which is closing the doors towards evil. अगर किसी मुफ्ती ने देखा कि इस कोई चीज़ है और उससे यानी ज़्यादा गुनाह हो जाएगा, तो वो क्या कहेगा? He'll say, do not engage in this one act because of this one act you will commit so many other sins. So he'll cut it from the root. But today, so many of our children, and this is not an exaggeration, so many of our children, not one device, they have two devices. They'll have a phone and a laptop, an iPad and a phone. And we give this to them. यानी वो बच्चे जो हम डर रखते हैं कि वो स्ट्रीट को न क्रॉस करे, that he should not even cross the road. We get scared. We say we can't let him out of the house. We say to our children, हम बच्चे से कहते हैं मदरसा के जो बच्चे हैं, we say, why do you not come to namaz? He says, our parents are scared. उनको डर है कि कुछ हो जाएगा. They don't even let them cross the street to come to the masjid. But those very children, we have given them the access to the entire world in their hands. And we do not think about anything. Yani our children, they are awake till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we do not even say to them, my son, what are you doing? Itni raat ho chuki hai, and you're still awake, what are you doing? That our children are waking up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we don't say to our children that why are you waking up so late? There's a reason why our scholars have given us the advice that go to sleep early. Because the shaitan, he comes to you at night in the cover of darkness, because we think no one is watching us, and then he incites you towards evil. He incites you towards ghunaah. So these children, they're staying awake till the early hours of the morning, and Allah knows best. May Allah protect them. But it is soon that they will fall into sin. They will fall into fitna. So we have responsibility as well to safeguard our children. In the same way that we do not wish for them to get into any struggle, into trouble when they go outside, we should think about inside the home as well. We should contemplate on this as well. And to my children I say that perhaps your parents are not watching, perhaps your siblings are not there, your teachers are not watching over you, perhaps there is no one amongst the creation who is looking at you. But know that you can hide from everyone, but you cannot hide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can hide from the creation, but you can never hide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's mentioned that this is mentioned in Tabarani and Hakim. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ne farmaya कि an-nazratu sahmun masmumun min sihami iblis. यानी ये जो नजर है ना, looking at evil, ये एक जहर आलूदा तीर है शैतान के तीरों में से. It is a poisonous arrow from the arrows of shaitan. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that if a person's eyesight falls upon something haram and he moves it away out of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, यानी उसकी निगाह कुछ हराम चीज पर पड़ गई, खौफ खुदा से उसने हटा दी, तो उसके दिल में ईमान की ऐसी हलावत पैदा करेगा अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला कि वो महसूस करेगा that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He removes his eyesight from something which is haram, out of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create such a sweetness of iman in his heart that he will actually experience this sweetness. He will actually experience the sweetness. For us, me and you, hum namaz ke liye khade hote hain, but we do not attain nothing. We just attain exercise. Hum roza rakhte hain, we only attain hunger. We give charity, the only thing we experience is empty pockets. We do not attain sweetness in our worship. Why is this? Ibn Kathir, he's mentioned many ahadith like this. He says, if a person's eyesight falls upon something haram, and he moves them away out of the fear of Allah, Allah will create a nur in his eye. In another narration, he mentions that if somebody's eyesight falls upon something haram and he moves it away out of the fear of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create a nur in his heart which he will experience. यानी दिल में ऐसा नूर पैदा करेगा जो वो महसूस करेगा. And then he says that if anyone's eyesight falls upon something haram and he moves it away out of the fear of Allah, he will attain such ibadah, such worship, that he will attain the sweetness of this worship. यानी इबादत की लज्जत महसूस करेगा. We do not attain the sweetness of worship. हम नमाज पढ़ते हैं, we just get exercise, that's it. We keep fast, we just attain hunger, that's it. We give charity, we just have empty pockets, and that is it. And this is one of the greatest causes, because we do not safeguard our eyesight, right? Why do we not attain the sweetness of worship? You know, Imam al-Azam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he says, if the kings, agar jo badshah hai wo jante हमको कितनी लज्जत मिलती है जब हम इबादत करते हैं. If they knew how much sweetness we attain when we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they would send their armies talwar ke saath. They would send their armies with their swords in order to try and take it from us. This is how much sweetness we attain in our worship. But you and I, what do we get when we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. This is why in Surah Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses you and I. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses you and I in Surah Nur. What does he say? He says, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, say to the believing men, mardon se kaho, يَغُدُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ, nigaho ko chukao. Lower your eyesight. Lower your vision. وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ, and safeguard your chastity. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ, this is the most pure thing for you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. Look how Allah ends the verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all that you do. Allah knows exactly what you're doing. Imam al-Ghazali in Minhaj al-Abidin, he mentions this as well. The fact Allah is saying that He knows what you do is because He knows what we are like, you and I. You know what Imam Ghazali says? He says, what is the wisdom behind lowering your vision? He goes, this is one of the best ways to purify your heart. दिल की सफाई के लिए ये बेहतरीन तरीका है निगाह नीची रखना और इबादत में इजाफा करने के लिए. If you want to increase your worship, then keep your eyesight lowered. He says, why should you not look here and there? आप कोई कहेगा कि मैं हराम चीज़ों को नहीं देखता हूँ, मैं वैसे ही when I'm walking, I just look around. He says, but when you do this, when your eye wanders, it is inevitable. यानी यही होगा. What will happen is you're walking, you're looking around, or something haram will enter into your eyes. You might look away, but what if your heart becomes inclined? What if your heart becomes drawn towards that thing? And it gives you waswasa again and again. And then you start looking intentionally, on purpose, custom dekhne lage. तो ये तो बर्बादी का सामान है. This is a means for your destruction. This is a means for your destruction. So we need to contemplate, my dear brothers. This great blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us should not be a means for our destruction. I will end with just two more narrations. This eyesight which we have been given, what is it being given us for? In order that we see the Kaaba Mu'azzama, which is ibadah. That we see the Quran Kareem, this is ibadah. That we see the face of our parents, this is ibadah. That we look at the face of our ulama, this is ibadah. Allama Ismail Haqqi, he was asked, he says, one of his students, he says, I wish to see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, is there any कुछ तरीका है इसके लिए? उसने कहा कि कुरान को देखा करो, करीब है कि रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ियारत से नसीब हो जाए. Keep looking into the Quran, you will see the Sahibi Quran, inshallah. Now when it comes to Khwaja Mu'inuddin Chishti, Huzur Gharib Nawaz, you know, the king at that time, he got many magicians to try and do sihr upon him. And they tried, but they couldn't do it. बहुत कोशिश की कि कुछ न कुछ असर हो जाए, but they could not do it. तो वो बादशाह ने पूछा कि why is it? Why can we not do nothing to him? They said to him, अगर आप ये चाहते हो कि उस पर सिहर जारी हो, if you want sihr to affect him, then make him look at something haram. As soon as he looks at something haram, then the sihr, the magic will have an impact upon him. So what did the king do? He sent many women. He sent his own daughter in order to mislead Khwaja Gharib Nawaz. What was Khwaja Gharib Nawaz doing? He was so engrossed in the recitation of the Quran, the tilawat of the Quran, that he did not even look towards those women. He did not even raise his eyes in order to look towards those women. And he was unsuccessful. And I end with this last thing. That what is the solution to our problem? This difficulty we're going through, what is the solution? So it's mentioned कि एक शख्स हुजूर बायजीद बुस्तामी के पास आया. And he says, Hazrat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me. इतनी तौफीक दी कि मैं कई गुनाहों से मैं बचता रहता हूँ. I safeguard myself from many sins, many गुनाह. लेकिन एक ऐसा गुनाह है मैं जिससे मैं नहीं बच सकता. There is one गुनाह which I cannot safeguard myself from, and that is when I am walking upon the street, then my eyesight falls upon something haram, something impermissible. Give me a means, give me a tariqah that I can use in order to safeguard myself from this guna, from this sin. So who is giving this? Sayyidina Shaykh Bayezid Bustami. He is giving the prescription. Who's Sayyidina Shaykh Bayezid Bustami is mentioned in Kashf al-Mahjub. Sayyidina Junayd al-Baghdadi rahmatullahi ta'ala, he says, Abu Yazid minna bimanzilati Jibril min al-malaika. That Bayezid amongst us, meaning the Sufiyai Kiram, he is like Jibreel amongst the angels. This is how high a maqam he has. So Sayyidina Shaykh Bayezid al-Bustami rahmatullahi ta'ala, the prescription he gives, the medicine he gives, he says to that Nawjawan, he says to that young lad, he says to him, listen to me, my son. When you are walking and your eyesight falls upon something haram, तो तेरे दिल में ये ख्याल आना चाहिए कि मैं ये हराम चीज को देख रहा हूं और मेरा खुदा मुझको देख रहा है. That I am looking at this haram thing, this evil thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at me. Whenever you look at something haram, bring this thought into your heart. And after 15 days, come to me. So this young man, he goes away. After 15 days, he comes to Sayyidina Shaykh Bayezid al-Bustami rahmatullahi ta'ala with tears in his eyes. He has tears in his eyes. He says, now, Huzur, I do not even wish to look at anything. I just lower my eyes and I walk on the streets. Right? So this is for something for me and you to practice upon. If at any time we are walking, if at any time our eyes fall upon something haram, know that we are looking at this and Allah is looking at us. And insha'Allah ta'ala, this will be a means for us protecting ourselves from haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not even approach zina. And this is one of the greatest means. When the eyesight falters, then the rest of the body will falter. Which is why Sayyidi Ala Hazrat once upon a time, he stood on the street, some women were walking towards him and they did not have parda on. So he took his clothes and he covered his eye. So the women, they began to mock him. They began to make fun of him. They say, you covered your eyesight in order not to look at us, but you have exposed your satra. But he says, pehli cheez jo bhatakti hai, wo aankh bhatakti hai. The first thing which falters is the eyes. When the eye falters, then dil bhatakta hai. Then the heart falters. And when the heart falters, then wujood bhatakta hai. Then the entirety of our existence, our entirety, this will falter. Right? So we must safeguard our eyesight. We must safeguard ourselves from haram. My specific request is to the youth especially those who have access to the internet, because the internet today is misguiding and misleading so many of our children. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He protect us from haram. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for all our major and minor sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act upon the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me and you. Sallallahu ta'ala ala khayra khalqihi wa nuri arshihi sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Sunnati Allah.